We're good to go.
Okay. Chad, welcome to the studio, buddy.
Yo.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Smashed it.
Good to be back.
We were saying that you looked like you'd just been out for a Saturday stroll when you entered studio, but we heard rumor from the course that you were having a tough day.
It was like the downhills were awesome. Every time the trail went back uphill, it was terrible.
What do you attribute that to? Are you lack of acclimatization this year? Or?
Yeah. I'm pretty light on both altitude and then just like racing uphill. Like usually I've done a bunch of like long climbs, like San Gorgonio and SoCal. I usually hit like 3 or 4 times, and that's been completely absent this year.
So fill us in, man, because we've been talking all weekend about just like whenever you race, it's so fun to watch, but you sort of pick your spots, you show up,
just disappear.
Yeah, you disappear, you fall off the map.
Yeah.
And you mentioned yesterday that you've been dealing with some injuries. So just fill us in on what you've been up to in the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow start to the season. So at the end of last year, like I always coming down kamikaze, like my ankles get all tight. So I took it pretty easy this year. So I was kind of dealing with some like low-key injuries coming out of this week and last year. So really slow going. I missed the Olympic trials and the marathon. So yeah, slow start to the season. Was going to start up in June at GoPro Games, was chasing Eli, and then like with a half mile to go, we were coming around like there's only one technical descent, and we were intersecting the back half of our own race, right? Because it's a 2-loop course. And I stepped off to the side and just ankle was like, bam, really bad. Yeah. And I realized I never really done the ankle that bad. So it's been, it still is like a little bit of swelling. So it's been a long process getting back. Yeah.
I've had that on both ankles, so I can absolutely sympathize. It just takes time.
It's like the bane of a trail runner, right?
So you've been battling that like all summer?
Yeah. And I think, it's like I've been trying to do this for a long time. So I think emotionally it was like pretty challenging. Like it was a pretty low point for me. So that was a huge part of it too. Just like kind of just stepping back from the sport for a bit and like kind of just getting back to, or kind of reflecting on my career and how I want to go about this next chapter. Yeah.
So the next chapter, here it starts this weekend, a 3rd place yesterday, a victory here today. We were joking. Between 2022, 2023, and 2024, you've run more Mammoth Trailfest events than anybody.
Yeah.
So, obviously you're back fit and healthy, even if it was a not totally perfect day, if you're not at totally perfect fitness.
Totally.
What is the next chapter for Chad Hall?
Well, we're going to see there's been a fire going on in Big Bear. So next race will be Kodiak for me. If it goes ahead, and I'll be doing
Fingers crossed.
100K.
100K, okay.
So we're thinking about kicking it up in distance. Yeah.
So a quick pause here because Sylvia Abel is here at Canyon Lodge here. 5K to go here for our women's leader from Los Gatos, California. She's taking a quick little breather.
Yeah, mom of a young kid who's at home this weekend. She told me yesterday she's got to run fast so that she can get back on the road and get home to the kiddo. So making good on that promise right now. Currently, we believe at least 7 minutes off the front of the women chasing her.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, she is smart. This looks amazing.
Yeah, you blitzed right through here. You did not do any of this when you came through here.
I didn't
yell at Patty.
I didn't realize that we were about to start climbing again right after this. So I was saying some pretty negative things about Tim in my head during this race.
Yeah, okay. So speaking of, we would be like, okay, cool, downhill finish. But the final 5K actually has like 300 feet of climbing in it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how the climbing did not feel good today. How awful did the final 300 feet of climbing feel?
Oh, it was, that climb where she's about to go right now is pretty brutal. And, it's like when you climb that much, you just don't know how long each climb is going to be. So you're kind of just like set it at a pace you can sustain. And then as soon as it goes down, you're like, thank goodness. Yeah.
So talk us through the day a little bit, because early we had the young kid, Adam Scholand, who was sort of trying to duke it out.
I was like, who is this guy?
So we figured it out a little bit. UNR grad, actually MK Sullivan texted us. She coached him at UNR.
Okay.
He's now a PhD student at NAU.
Oh, wow.
But he actually was at Olympic trials. He's got a 2:16:59 marathon PR to his name. But young guy.
Yeah, but then at Duck Pass, you had 2 minutes. At Horseshoe Lake, you had 5. By the top of the mountain, it was like 6 or so.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the finish, it was about 10. Did you have a sense of where the competition was throughout the day, or
not really? I think the first gap I got was at Main Lodge. My girlfriend gave me a heads up on I think she said I had 5 minutes at the top, and that was it's like, oh man, I'm hurting pretty bad. I don't know if 5 minutes is gonna be enough. We'll see. And luckily, it's like the downhill stuff comes pretty naturally.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, he took it out really hard. And usually I'm the type of person who like gets to the front and just kind of lays down the hammer. And he was kind of putting it to me. And I was like, this is either there's some either like coup going on here of like some strategy to like try to make me go out too hard, which if that was a strategy, it worked really well. But yeah, I was really impressed with his running. I thought he looked super strong. The only thing is, I think he maybe had his belt underneath his shirt, so it looked like he had no fuel or anything. And I was like, yeah, I think this is gonna catch up with you a little bit later.
Yeah.
Where is he at on course?
He's in 11th place right now, so
Okay.
he's battling, within the top 10. I mean, he's probably finished at this point now, but anyway, the men's top 10. I mean, especially 5 through 10 position all day. It was separated by 60, 90
He should be the
seconds
next
for much of it.
finisher.
Nice.
So,
He's 10th is finished, but 11th has not come in
but
yet.
you got to respect the young kid for going toe to toe with Chad Hall. in the
Yeah,
early miles.
kudos to him. Like, I think super talented guy. I think that you can tell when somebody has potential, and I think
Yeah.
you could really see that he's got an engine for
Yeah,
sure.
awesome. Well,
I guess so. Kodiak 100K if it happens. I'm supposed to be in Kodiak 100 miles, so I feel all of the like, we don't know if this is happening or not, and
Yeah.
rightly so. But talking about stepping up in distance, talking about what comes next. Okay, Kodiak or not, what are we going to see hopefully from you as we enter 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do have the bug, and Dylan, you did say this, I think maybe a couple years back about me maybe having some potential in long distance stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time. It's like I'm not getting any younger. So I just want to see what that experience is like. And also it's like after doing Golden Trail Series, those races hurt in a very different way. And maybe I'm ready for something, a little bit new.
Yeah. So Sylvie Abel on screen here stopped. So not a good indication. This is probably that final little bump of a climb.
And we saw her do something similar right below the summit as well. She had to
Yeah.
stop for a second and kind of like, I don't know if she's stretching a cramp or if she's just like hands on knees,
taking
taking
a
a
moment.
moment. But
I mean, it is surprising, like on Dragon's Back, like usually when I'm power hiking, I'm
There's
thinking,
Adam finishing there.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Adam. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
oh yeah, anyways, I'm stoked to see him. The bucket hat is also
it's style icon. He's wearing his
Style.
high school. That's his high school cross country
singlet. Oh, wicked.
Yeah,
I love
Sumner,
that.
like he's from Washington State, so
Oh, cool.
Sumner High School.
Yeah. That's how old is he?
23.
23.
Okay,
Mhm.
I like it.
Yeah, young gun. There's a 20-year-old in the top 10 as well. Oscar Pentieri finished 8th, I think.
Yeah.
Come on, Sylvie.
I mean, okay, the 11-year-old that got third on the Dragon's Back ascent in the women's race yesterday was
Yeah,
mind
you're like, I'm
boggling.
really
Like,
old all of a
what?
sudden.
Yeah, I was like, that's insane. I was laughing because I was like, we need a third place photo, and like 36-year-old,
Yeah.
11-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You should have done that.
Yeah, well, we also had we had Alan. What's out like Emma.
Summer
Allen
Yeah.
come in. She's mom
Mother
of
of three.
three,
Oh,
youngest
yeah.
8 months old. I wanted her to like be holding the children in
Yeah.
this photo with this 11-year-old who probably looks like she could just be one of
Yeah.
Summer Allen's kids.
Yeah.
So very, very cool podium stories from this weekend. Stopped again right there.
Sylvie looks to be very much struggling on this final 300-foot bump of a climb here before
Oh my
the
gosh.
fast couple miles into the finish line.
I feel so
on,
bad for
Sylvie.
her right now.
You're like, this is how you felt on it.
Yeah.
We were watching it play out now.
Yeah, it's crazy because usually when I'm power hiking, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm kicking it down from running. But today I just felt like power hiking even was like, man, my legs are still just suffering.
Yeah. All right. So, Chad, podium on Friday, a win here today. You're not taking the start line tomorrow, we don't think, unless we can twist your arm into jumping into Golden Trail.
I mean, I think if Tim wanted to throw me in there, I would maybe take him up on it. 'Cause I'm a gamer. But I'm also excited to cheer on that race, and just kind of get to spectate because I think it's going to be such an exciting one to watch for sure.
So, but that must have been a conscious decision coming back from injury, building towards 100K at Kodiak, doing the VK and the 50K. There was probably some temptation to jump into the Golden Trail instead.
For sure. I mean, if the season had gone well, this would have been like a real, pin on my calendar type of race to come back and get a little bit of redemption from last year. But yeah, I just knew, you have these sort of testing efforts that you do and you kind of know where your fitness is at. And I could tell like, it's not on that level. Cause these guys, I mean, the level of trail running these days
Yeah.
is so high.
Especially in Golden Trail.
Yeah.
Well, dude, congratulations.
thank
You
you.
look casual. It feels like you absorbed that one pretty well.
Sparkling water's key.
The
Just slam
key.
as many
Yeah,
sparkling
we're
waters as you
double
can when
fisting
you
sparkling
finish.
water in the studio
They
right
tell
now.
you to have protein shakes, but really you got to smash the LaCroix,
Just-
the Kirkland brand sparkling beverages.
Yeah, and my favorite thing is you just chug it, like
Yeah.
just hit as hard as you can.
All right.
Amazing.
Well,
Thank you.
congratulations,
Yeah,
Chad Hall. Big
thank you,
round of applause
guys.
for our men's champion, Chad Hall, in studio here.